to Klamath County, home of Oregon, Sunshine City, Crater Lake, and the absolute best of talk radio, interviews, music, and comedy in the world. WFTP proudly presents the Queen of Talk Radio, Princess of the Silver Screen, Master of the Culinary Arts, award-winning author and filmmaker. It's the Jennifer Dawn Show.
Hello?
Is this Andi?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
It is so good to talk to you and to get you on my radio for an interview.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. How come everybody says that when I call them? You've got a lot going on in your life, girl. I love you to death. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Yeah. It is jam-packed.
yes, it is. What are you doing today?
Oh, today I was actually at my 13-year-old granddaughter's birthday party.
Oh, wow, and you're giving me an interview on her birthday party.
Oh, I left. That was enough. I've been there, done that. My daughter can deal with the rest of the overnight.
And what is your granddaughter's name?
Maya.
Maya. Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday, Maya, from Forbidden Tears Productions. Happy 13. Awesome.
Yeah, teenager.
I
Lucky
know.
her.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that again, would you?
No. I'm past that.
So, when I really thought about interviewing you, it was because, well, you're doing film. And you also act.
Yes.
And what else do you do besides you direct and you produce, and you act?
My web series, and I'm auditioning a lot. And, the web series is very close to my heart, dedicated to my 2 sons I lost.
Yes, I remember. And tell everybody what that is.
My web series, it was originally called The Gossiping Grams, but now it's The Grams. And it's, the episodes that are out are all comedic, and they're only about 10, 12 minutes, but about my director and the writer are now making 30-minute episodes, and as we speak, they're being gone over by an investor. So they're going to turn into dramedies that they'll still be funny, but they're going to deal with issues in a light way, like either depression or loneliness or bullying, but in the lightest way possible.
Wow, that's awesome.
Mm.
That is, you could really touch a lot of hearts with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the Gossiping Grams, I remember when that first came out. Why did you call it that?
Because originally it was thought about by 2 women I knew that we didn't know what, and I had the first 2 episodes are true stories.
Wow.
And I thought it would be really fun for 3 of us to reminisce and then call in other actors for the other parts I needed in that episode. And so I said, you know what, why don't we just be the Gossiping Grams? So every episode for a while started with the 3 of us at a table talking, and then it would go back in time.
Wow.
But then I got a director here that saw it on TV, on YouTube, and she was very interested in taking it to another level. So I said, sure, but she did not like the name Gossiping Grams. And she didn't want it. And she said the episodes she wrote were not really gossiping, which is true. So we changed it. But the really, really freaky thing about it all is this lady came into my life, and I said, sure, we can give it a shot. And she wrote the episode, and it was right in the middle of COVID, July of 2020. So she wanted to do it outside. And I said, fine. She said, you have a pool? And I said, yes. And she said, can I come see it? And I said, sure. And she said, this was all on text. And she said, can you text me your address? And I said, sure. And then she texts back, you live in Milford? And I'm like, uh-oh. And I said, yeah. And she goes, and your last name's Poland? And I said, yeah. And she said, I used to teach at Harborside Middle School in Milford. I said, you're kidding. All my 3 kids went there. And she said, who are your 3 kids? I said, Kelly, Kenny, and Todd Poland. She goes, oh, my God, I was so close to Todd.
Oh.
And I said, you got to be kidding me. And she had heard what happened, but she just didn't put the pieces together that when we were talking that I was his mother. She didn't know what town I lived in. She did, because this is all phone or emails. So I believe he sent her. I believe my son sent her.
Oh, wow.
Because, yeah, I mean, that's like the freakiest thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, every time we talk, there is a way that you just touch my heart. Every single time.
She had stories about him, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's Todd. She'd say, can I come hang out with you so I don't have to go to history? Oh, yeah, that was Todd. No, go to class.
Yeah.
That's definitely Todd. That was definitely
Wow.
Todd.
Oh.
So it makes it so much more
And what is her name as your director? Who is your director?
Sue Kessler. And she actually was teaching at the middle school my kids went to till she got her break. And she's been doing writing, directing, and acting. She just flew to the UK to be in a movie.
Oh, how cool.
So she's definitely multi-talented. I mean, she stayed in my little studio in New York once, and she fixed all these things. There was a chip on the ceiling, and one of my lights didn't work. I said, is there anything you don't do? Really nice lady, though.
Well, that is cool. You have a studio in New York. And
yeah, I got a studio apartment when it was super, super cheap. I got so lucky.
Wow. And then you live in Milford. Milford what?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah.
And now when you act and you get your acting jobs, you fly to go do them, or are they all local?
Well, they're usually in New York, and it's either an hour and a half by train or car.
So you can stay in you can stay in, you have a place to stay up there. Yep. Yeah, in your studio.
Yep.
That is so cool.
It's nice, too, because I have a lot of friends in Boston, because I've done a bunch of stuff there, and they know they can call me if they get a job in New York and let them stay, so it's nice to have that for other people, too, so they don't just spend a fortune staying in New York,
I always loved Robert Urich. He lived on the property of Phillips Academy in Boston, and you remember him. He had his own show.
Oh, yeah, I totally remember him. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was so cool. And I lived in Methuen, Mass., and New Hampshire for a while, so some of those areas were my stomping grounds for a while.
Wow.
Now, when did you get into acting?
Well, I did some acting as a teenager, late teens, 17, 18, 19. Then I got married at 21, and I stopped when I was pregnant, which was at 23, and I didn't come back to it till 03. When my third kid was about 13. Because it's impossible, to be around the clock, like those crazy hours, call times at 3 a.m. or you don't get home till 3 a.m. You can't do that with kids when they're little.
No.
So I took a bunch of years off and then came back in 03. Did some community plays and then went to New York and started over.
So you have theatrical stage under your belt.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's so funny because I am not nervous at all when I'm with a star. I feel so at home on sets, but on the stage, I am a nervous wreck. I do a great job, and when I get through it, I know my lines and all that stuff, but something about that audience being right there.
Yeah, but they shine the light. The light kind of keeps the audience at bay, right?
That's true.
But you still know they're there. I mean,
yeah.
I did some drama in college, and I don't want to go into any of that. I decided I'd be a much better writer than an actor. And I enjoy writing. But now you also started at first, before you had your director and your writer, you wrote your episodes.
Just the first 2, because those were true stories.
Oh, okay.
Once I got to where I'm out of stories here, then I got a writer. I hired a writer for a few episodes, and then this woman came into my life that is doing the writing and directing. So
And
that
it's,
worked out really well.
yeah, it's just taken off from there.
I know. And she has a partner, and he does the editing. And it's great. And every room in my house is somebody else's house.
That is so cool.
I know. It really is. The back room is my house. The front of the room is one of the other rooms. The side room is this guy, Ned Winkle, that's in this cast. He's in one room. I mean, it's so funny.
You got like a Saturday Night Live thing going on there in your house, right?
It's great. And, you know, a couple times I've used different neighbors that were nice enough to let us use, you know, if we needed somebody's kitchen, and my kitchen's already taken. So,
yeah.
So we need,
you need a different look, you know.
Right, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So, you know, and it's nice because I've never really had to pay for a location. It's always been here or there, you know, in the neighborhood.
I love that about, you know, working in this industry, because in Waldron, you know, I shot a lot of films out there, and I had the police and the ambulance, the EMTs, I had the fire department. If I wanted rain, they'd come out and jet their little hoses up above the roof, you know.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Nobody ever charged me for any of that. And
wow.
You know, and then the actors like Catherine Coven Pacino and William Lashbrook and Linda Salvin and so many others just flew out on their own dime to be in my films.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
I really met some great people, and I bet you have too, just, you know, working with everybody, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all these people in my web series are people I've met on set, and we're like a family. I love them all.
That's
you know,
awesome.
They do great work, and they come in from New York, and since there's just no room in the studio. I mean, I've thought about going to New York, but there's no room in my little tiny studio, and I definitely don't want to pay $1,000 to rent something. You know?
Definitely.
So,
It'd be more than that
yeah.
now, probably.
But I pay their, you know, I give them a paycheck, plus I pay for their travel, whether it's gas or train.
Yeah, you know, and I did that too, except when I first started out, they just wanted to be in my films, and they came out on their own dime, and then later I hired a chef, and I had drivers, and I'd pay the airfare, and, you know, then pay the insurance, you know, on SAG, and all of that for them, you know. And it really takes off when you have good people in your corner. And,
oh, absolutely.
You know,
I
they
mean,
can help you grow, you know.
Right, right.
And, you know, you're one of those. You've been in my corner before on things I'm doing. And just even in my personal life, I mean, you're a great friend. And that's what happens, isn't it, when we work with them? We meet some really great friends.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Adam Sandler's probably the nicest guy I've ever met. He is, I mean, on top of being funny, he's just such a sweetheart. And I've been in so many of his movies. He sees me now and runs over and hugs me, but he doesn't know my name. And the last time I worked with him, I said, can I tell you my name? It's Andy. And he goes, I said, you're always calling me kid. Because he's like, every time he sees me, hi, kid. So I said, my name's Andy. He goes, okay, kid. He's still
yeah, it's like Mario Prado calls me, okay, little buddy. So I started calling him Skipper. You know, like Gilligan's Island. All right, Skipper. So, little buddy and Skipper. Now, what movies were you in with Adam?
Oh, boy. Grown Ups.
How come I don't? Oh, my gosh, I still got to watch these.
Wait, you really got to watch. I mean, they cut out my lines, but I'm all over the place in The Proposal. But I had lines with Betty White. I spent 3 weeks with those people. It was
oh, goodness sakes, I loved her, you know?
Oh, I know. And she's the only time I was so touched by her that I went out and got her just this really pretty candle in a glass. And I just really, you know, I thought she was 89 then. And I'm like, I'm never going to see her again. Here she lived another almost 11 years.
Wow.
But she was hilarious. There was a scene in the living room, and I was sitting on the floor next to her. She was in a chair, but I was on the floor next to her. And we were talking, and then the director says, on action, all I need everybody to do is stand up, walk over here, and clap while Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock kiss. I'm like, okay. So he says action, and we all get up and clap, and then he says cut, and Betty White goes, isn't anyone going to say anything? I was brilliant. She was so cute. I just loved her.
Oh, wow. And then you were working with Sandra Bullock.
Yes, Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, who was also very friendly. Ryan Reynolds was a little more run to the trailer on his breaks. Sandra and Betty were like out there talking to us all the time, you know?
Well, Sandra was so funny in Miss Congeniality.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she is very funny in a lot of her movies, you know.
She actually cracks me up in The Proposal, too. Just because, you know, they make such fun of her in the beginning with the heels and the, you know. You know how many people asked me when I was in Alaska? I was like, guys, that was Massachusetts. And they just put window dressing on it with snow or something. You know?
Oh,
like,
wow.
How to shade. I know, it's like, you went to Alaska? No.
No, they build these things, you know. They build our sets,
honestly,
right?
They built nothing. All they did was have a shade on the window. That looked like it was somebody's house, a really gorgeous, gorgeous house in an expensive area of Massachusetts, and there's a big picture window, and they put a shade on it, like mountains with snow or something.
Oh, wow. Now, what happens when Sandra Bullock and Betty White make you crack up? I mean, how many takes is that, right?
Oh, Betty White cracks up more than anybody. She's hysterical. Say something wrong, and then she'll slap her face.
Oh, my goodness. Like, get with it.
Yeah. Come on. And she'll go, come on, Betty, and hit herself.
So that's like, what, 20 takes, and then you finally get it, right?
All right, back to makeup. She has one red cheek.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, my gosh. You have had quite the history, quite the career. You know, I mean, and all of this stuff is so fun to talk about, you know?
Yeah, I know. I love it. I miss being on set with this writer's strike, you know?
Oh, I was going to ask you, is that affecting your show or anything in any way or work right now?
No, well, it's not affecting my web series because the episodes are written. But I don't know that. I think it's okay for me to film. I'm supposed to stand, you know, as a SAG member, I'm supposed to stand by the union, the writers' union, and not work. But I just can't imagine that anyone would have a problem with me doing my little web series in my house.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And I'm an author, so when it comes, you know, to the Falcon, I'm writing the book. I'm not being a scriptwriter or a screenplay writer, so I didn't figure it would affect me on that either, you know.
Yeah,
and,
I don't think so.
No, and how was it when I put you with Mario and I put you on the spot?
Oh, I know. I was like, uh-oh. I know. I was like, do we have a... I looked at my calendar. I'm like, did I forget to write something down here? Well, I'm glad I was home. You know, so many times I'm like in the car going to my granddaughters or, you know, I'm glad I was home.
Yeah, but I put you on the spot and I said, all right, let me set up the scene. And then you nailed it.
I did okay?
You did great. You nailed it. And Mario even said you did. You know, you're going to be great because, you know, everybody here in Radioland, Andi Poland is in the Falcon. As Verda Constantine, we call her V.
Yep, a.k.a. V.
Yes. And darling, that's going to be so wonderful, my dear.
As long as I have my cigarette holder, I'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, I ordered that. I ordered that for your set. I did. And it goes perfect with the fur, you know?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and Mario liked that, too. Yeah.
Now, is Mario a producer or?
Mario is a producer, a director, but he's a wonderful photographer. He started out, if you listen to his interview we put out the other day, it's very informative. And it tells a lot about film, the film industry, how he got started, and a lot of that. And, you know, his family was in, you know, he grew up in the film industry with his family and his father. But you have to listen to the interview, and that's Mario Prado's interview. But he talks about so much. You know, if anybody has any questions about the industry or what a line producer is or anything like that, you're going to learn a lot from that interview. I mean, they will. You know all this. But,
wow.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Mario Prado. Mario Prado, Prado, out of Los Angeles. and he's been a photographer. He used to shoot models for magazine spreads and things like that. It's all in the interview. And then he went into film. But he's a line producer mostly. But now with the Falcon, he had this idea, and it's actually very necessary the way America is right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing. And so now he's producer, and I don't know if he's going to direct it, but he is writing scripts. I'm writing the book. Steve Alexander is writing the screenplay, and of course we just informed you that you're in the movie. And I promised you I would get you a role in one of my next films, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yes, and I come through with what I said.
Sure did.
Yes, I always do. You know.
I know. We've met many years ago on Facebook.
Yes, we've known each other.
Article. I was like always looking at directors, producers, and I saw you, and I think you were missing a stapler or something for your set. I sent you.
You sent me a stapler.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my stapler, and all of a sudden, what's this? Damn, that's a stapler. That's where that went. Andy had it. That was so cool. And the very first time I was doing Flowers in the Snow, and you sent me $25 to help support my film. It was for snacks on set.
And my poster, my granddaughter and I made those posters.
Yes, and you've just been, that's how we met,
Right.
And
right.
that $25 bought a case of chips,
Well, I hope you have some leftovers for me.
That was years ago. I wouldn't eat them now.
I'm only kidding.
But, then we had the bottled water and, and we had the power bars and, the healthy granola things. But it was really so wonderful. And you forgot to sign the check.
Oh, did I really?
You remember that?
No. Oh.
And so then I called you. I said, do you mind if I sign your name on this check? You forgot to. And you said, no, go ahead. So I signed it, and then I initialed the top corner with my initials. And so they knew that I was signing for you, and that's a legal way to do that. But
okay.
Yeah, it was just amazing. It was so cool. But yeah, we met years. That was 2000, 15, 16.
My granddaughter looked like she was 5, and she's turning 13. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be about right,
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me, what are you excited about the Falcon?
Oh, I'm excited about meeting new people. I'm excited about being on a set. I'm excited because I've never been to Oregon before.
I think we're shooting that in Philadelphia, though.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, it's going to be filmed in Philadelphia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
So that's kind of close to you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've worked in Philadelphia many times. It's probably about 3 hours for me. It's not bad at all. I have 2 different nephews that live there, so I go there on and off.
Well, cool. Then you got a place to stay, but the film's going to pay for everything. So, the financing is going to be amazing. We don't have a shoot date because, like I said, I just finished chapter 12. And I just wrote your very first scene into the book in chapter 12.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And Mario wants me on set also, just as the author and the book writer. So, it's kind of cool to watch your book go into a film.
Oh, of course. I can't imagine how thrilling that is. That must be amazing.
Yeah, and maybe he'll let me run a camera or something. I don't know. I'm not going to bust in on his lane, But he wants me there to be able to watch the filming and this and that, and that's so cool. So I'm very excited about that. Now, what is your next thing you're going to be doing?
Well, with the strike, I'm going to really be concentrating on my web series. Because my goal, the people that are investing in it ask that we make it nonprofit. Because that's the way it's a write-off for them.
Right.
So it's now actually Gossip and Grams LLC, but it's going to be called the Grams on YouTube. And my goal is any proceeds is to get suicide awareness and prevention teaching in the schools.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool.
I've been taking public speaking class, so I could, I want to. It's already being done in Massachusetts, and they start as early as kindergarten. Now they don't talk about suicide in kindergarten, but they start telling kids you should never hold your feelings. What do if someone bullies you? Trying to get from an early age on.
Tell somebody, go tell a teacher, tell an adult.
Right.
Something,
Well, people are shocked when they hear my story that I lost both my sons that way.
Yeah.
So,
and now they can find that on YouTube right now under Gossiping Grams.
Yes.
I've always thought you should do this thing. I had an idea, and you just need a little diner, and you could be the shaky waitress. People come in, they sit around and they talk, and you might have this one character who keeps dumping sugar, and then the more coffee she drinks with the more sugar, she gets a little loopy. Other people are coming in and out, and the waitress is so shaky that she basically tries to get the coffee in the cup, doesn't always work, and then every once in a while she looks down at the floor and talks to this dog that isn't there.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Would that not be funny? And I called it the Shaky Waitress, and I did a scene about that, and it was so funny. But I got to tell you, we got to use fake sugar.
A funny story. I was doing a movie in a diner. Ben Stiller was the director, and Patricia Arquette was the female star. And I don't know who the male star was. I never saw him before. But Patricia Arquette and this man go walking in the diner, and they sit down, and it's obviously an emotional scene. Patricia Arquette's crying. All of a sudden, they said, cut. And she comes walking over to me. I'm behind the counter. And she comes over and she goes, what are you doing making that noise? What are you doing, playing pool back here? She was screaming in my face, and she was cursing. I said, that's not me. It's the ice machine. It's like apologized 80,000 times. She felt so bad. I mean, she was in my face screaming at me.
Oh, wow. She gets really intense on set.
Yeah, she goes, what the F's wrong with you? What are you playing pool back here where I'm doing a very emotional scene? She scared the crap out of me. And I said, it wasn't me, it's the ice machine. And she was devastated that she yelled at me. And
did they finally unplug the ice machine?
They tried to. They had 2 technicians under that damn thing trying to stop it. Oh, but that was...
but is she, other than that, is she cool to work with?
She was fine.
Yeah.
She was fine. I mean, she didn't know me from a hole in the wall. It could have been my first day on the set ever. And she thought I just didn't know better,
Well, what did Ben Stiller say?
He was kind of keeping away from the whole thing.
I think I'm going to go over here, and he turns and walks away.
He was watching, and he saw her apologize, and he, he kind of was giving like a half smile, like, are you okay type thing. I mean, she's a big girl.
Yeah.
And, and like I said, she was like in my face, screaming at me and cursing at me. It was pretty scary.
And, and it can get, a lot of times it can get intense on set.
Right. But here's this big star, coming over and screaming in my face. And I just thank God I wasn't making noise. I mean, I'm not new. I mean, when the scene's being done and I'm there, I shut up. But she doesn't know that. I was playing with something.
She'd never met you before, right?
No, I bet the ice cubes probably sound like pool balls or something. Because that's exactly what she said. What the F are you doing? Playing pool back here? Well, you don't know this yet.
Well, Patricia Arquette from Forbidden Tears Productions just got to remember to unplug the ice machines.
Note to myself.
Yes, that's right. Well, if somebody wants to get started in acting, I mean, they're young. I mean, what did your parents say when you wanted to go into acting?
Oh, they absolutely forbid it. That's why I didn't do it till my late teens when I moved out.
Wow.
Because they were like, no way. I mean, I understand. A lot of parents, they want their kid to grow up doing something that they know they're going to be able to do, It's always been very competitive. And so I understood. But so I took some acting classes as soon as I got out of that, and I was in college, and I took some classes and then started going to New York, and, because I loved it. I love it.
You know, that's kind of like me. I had a full scholarship to law school, and then I turned it down, and my parents were like, what? I'm like, well, I want to go into writing and film.
They must have loved that.
Oh, no, they hit the roof. You see that video with Michael Jackson and the father, and he turns up the volume, and the chair goes up through the roof? You know? Yeah, it's a music video.
Okay. Which song?
The kid from Home Alone is in it, and he's like,
yeah.
eat this, cranks up the music, and the roof blows off.
Yeah,
That was my parents' living room that day.
Yeah, they were buddies, Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, they were, and Michael Jackson was a genius. I had the pleasure of knowing him, and I met him in Maui, and we were able to talk, and he gave me a lot of good advice in business for the industry, and it was just amazing, you know. He worked with some of the best also, just, you know, like Thriller and all of that, but it was so wonderful to really know him, you know.
Right.
And Debbie Rowe was my neighbor, you know,
wow.
who actually is the mother of, you know, Paris and Prince. And so it was kind of weird because at that point I hadn't met Michael yet. She was older than me. And it was like, oh, she's getting with Michael, you know, and all this. And, you know, but she's a wonderful lady. Was really wonderful to know her. But Michael was cool, but it reminded me of that video when I told my parents. Well, about that, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah, they didn't care for that.
But the closest I got to Michael Jackson was I saw the top of his head. He was walking by in Vegas down a hallway, and there were so many guards around him that I literally saw the top of his head as he went by, surrounded by guards. So I didn't even get to see his face.
No, nobody can get a hold of him. And I was lucky that I met him in Maui at his concert, and I was able to go backstage and sit and have a conversation, and then that's how we met each other. And then I still have permission to play a certain amount of seconds of any song that I want in any video that I do. And he ensured that for me, so, you know, that's pretty cool. It's, you know, of course, you know, how many seconds can you play, you know?
Yeah, right.
But thank you, Mikey, you know, so that's cool. Who else have you worked with?
Matt Damon.
Cool.
Unbelievably nice. And he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And we got to talk so much. I just had a line in the movie, but it was to him. And, you know, they do 300 different shots, angles, this, that, and the other. So I got time with him. And you could just see he's a really warm, nice guy. So I finally said to him, Matt, I'm really surprised to see you here. And he goes, why is that? I said, I thought you only did background work. And he goes, Andy, you're something else. That's how comfortable I was with him to say something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he made you so he just acts like you're his best friend. He's just a really nice man.
Well, a lot of people don't realize, I mean, people get starstruck or whatever, but I never do because they're just normal people.
Right.
And, you know, but that's how we get to know them. The
right.
regular people don't really, you know, I could see why they might get starstruck, but anybody who's with me and I'm talking to somebody who's really big in the industry, I always tell them, do not get starstruck, do not do it. They do not like it, they do not want it, and don't do that if you're with me, you know.
Right.
And they learn very easy, and they're always like, oh, you know, you're right, they're so relaxed, so comfortable, you know.
Do you know what my one line was to him?
What?
Can I have your autograph?
You had to say that in the movie? What movie was that?
Adjustment Bureau.
Oh, okay.
He was running for mayor, and all these people go running, crowding and he walks down this hill, and I'm kind of halfway down the hill, and he's walking right towards me, and he looks at me, and I say, can I have your autograph? I mean, everyone's surrounding, trying to get him, and because I asked, he took my paper and signed and gave it back to me. And I said, here, know, I know. Of all lines to say to somebody, can I have your autograph? You know, pretty funny.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. I was very happy.
Well, I think I got your autograph on a couple of checks. So
No, you got your own autograph on that one.
Yeah, but you had to fill it out, you know.
Yes.
I guess I so should have framed that, you know.
That's funny.
So advice to young people, what would you tell them if they came out and said, Miss Plum, I want to be an actress like you?
I would definitely recommend some people that I have met online that are so good, that do beginners, you know, intermediate and advanced actors that could talk people right through them, or if they have any local acting, you know, in their wherever they live, in their town, their city. But there's so much good stuff online now, and I have found the best acting teacher I've ever had, and I feel like I'm at home with him now because he's so good. So I would, you know, recommend, absolutely. A good thing is, like, practice storytelling, practice, you know, read a lot, storytell. Definitely, if they could take a little class, depending on the age, on improv, that's always very, very helpful.
Oh, and that helps them project their voice, too.
Exactly.
Working with kids, I found that, especially kids who aren't used to acting, I always had to get them, you need to project your voice. You need to project, you know.
Right.
Otherwise, the audio's too low. And they don't understand about, you know, the microphones and this and that. And they think, well, it's just going to pick it up, you know. But it doesn't always. They have to learn to project, but keep the same emotional level in whatever they're doing, you know.
Right.
So that's...
People have to realize that acting isn't acting, if you know what I mean. It's you. A lot of it's you coming out. You know, the way I play a part, if somebody loves it, they could love it the way another person plays it. It's totally different because you bring so much of yourself into your characters. Crying on cue. Yeah, that's hard. I've had to do that, and I did. I was successful, but it's not easy.
What do you draw from?
Well, I think about my sons.
Oh, wow. That'd do it every time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. You're
Absolutely
amazing, and I look forward to working with you in the Falcon, and I'm just so happy and pleased to know you. You're just like a sister to me. I love you so much.
You're so sweet. I'm very, very excited.
Yes.
I'm so honored that you chose me.
Well, why wouldn't I? You're perfect for it. I mean... You sent me that photo in the fur coat. All I had to do was add the cigarette thing and then get you to say, oh, darling, you're such a peach. You know. Awesome. You want to give some shout-outs to anybody?
Boy, I don't know who would be listening, but I know.
Oh, you saying nobody's going to listen to my show? That's what you're saying to me? What the F are you doing in there? You shooting pool back there?
Yeah, I think you have 3 guests. No. Just a big hello, and I hope to meet all of you. And if you get into acting, let me know. I'd love to be there for you.
Well, yeah, and shout-outs to anybody who helped you get started or anybody special
Absolutely.
In your world. Who do you want to shout out to?
Who I want to shout out to? My grandkids.
Okay.
A shout out to Maya, Abby, and Corbin.
And how about Patricia Arquette?
Yes, I think she owes me. She owes me.
I love you, girl. So where are you heading now? Aren't you about to take off for something somewhere? Or?
Oh, no. That was today.
Okay.
My granddaughter's birthday party. I was
okay.
helping my daughter, but yeah.
Well, we'll get you on a Zoom with Mario at some point.
Okay.
There's just no rush. He's out of pocket today, and he's out of pocket tomorrow because he's actually getting together with Pacino tomorrow. So he's going to be very busy on that. Catherine Coven Pacino.
Wow.
So they're having lunch. He's got to take the soup and the sandwiches. but you know, Mario's a great cook, you know. Well, I can't really
Oh.
say that because he has a chef that stays with them once in a while.
Well, I'm going to remember that and insist he cook for me.
Hey, maybe you ought to just fly out, show up on his door and say, "What's for dinner?"
Hey, when I'm V, I want service.
Well, hey, you're getting her down, girl. It's going to be scary. You're practicing already, aren't you?
Yeah, no rump roast for me. Filet mignon.
There you go. There you go. And please be a dear and get my luggage to my suites.
Yeah, it's the 6th suite on the left.
Actually, in the film, you got like 4 suites, man.
Oh, wow.
And a whole team and entourage, and well, we can't give everything away, but it's gonna be awesome. Andy, I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put up your slideshow, and then you share it with anybody you want. Just get it out there, and
okay, you'll give me the link, so.
Yeah, you'll have the link and everything, and you can just share it everywhere. Okay?
Nice.
And
thank you so much.
I appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, but you mean a lot to me, and so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. You're the best.
Well, you have a great day.
You too.
And I'll talk to you later.
Great.
All right.
Bye-bye, honey.
Bye, darling. Andy, Poland, everybody. What a great interview. Wonderful person. Amazing. That's our show for today. WFTP Radio, the Falcon, is out of here until the next time. In closing, we're going to play Max Rustano, Life is Real. I love Max.
I want to say something about the way I feel, 'cause everything in life is also real. I want to shout it out so everyone can hear it. Death's the final word. At least I will be heard. Your life's so hard, but I'm giving it all I got. Your life's so hard, but I'm coming out ready enough. Show me how life is meant to be. The journey here is not my destiny. I take it day by day, and then from year to year